What's good? Mike's in the building. Welcome to another video. We're going to talk about the hard-hitting questions you've been asking about the Hypermotard 698 mono. Some really great questions from the two videos I've uploaded, and I think you guys kind of fed this video that I'm doing right now, and I will be doing another version of this video because I think they are very informative, a lot of great questions, even stuff that I didn't think about. We have to cover this, we have to talk about it, and I think this will be a topic of conversation over the next coming months regarding the Hypermotard 698 mono. This wire coming above here at the very top of the bike, guys. People are already very curious about it. And if you are aware about dirt bike life, supermoto bike life, pretty much anything with like a big traveling system. So what we're seeing here when we look at this bike, Hypermotard 698 mono RVE, the suspension tend to play around quite a bit. Look, a lot of up and down. To put it in plain words, it's a speed sensor and a brake cable that has extra amount of slack when the bike bounces all the way down, or if it bottoms out and spring all the way back up, there's plenty of cable to kind of coil up and down. So it's not something that they can avoid. I know some people are saying, hey, it's a Ducati, it should have hidden that a lot better, but it's the nature of a supermoto. The suspension travel is pretty far and wide, so you have that excess wire up there to kind of go up and down. You will see it when I'm riding. As an example, it does kind of go up and down. See that? Pretty common, guys. Nothing crazy, pretty common. Let's talk about the next one. Someone asked, is it planted when you're out there on the road taking corners? A very easy question to answer. It's a Ducati. Racing is in its DNA, guys. So the bike tends to kind of melt right into the corner. Super easy. And again, when you're moving at pace, it doesn't feel light in the front end. I know before I mentioned maybe you might need a steering damper, but now that I have the bike in my garage, I'm riding it, it feels pretty good. It definitely melts right into the corner. So that's a given. That's a total Ducati thing. It wouldn't be a Ducati if it didn't have any racing heritage. So it's a given. We can't go through the entire video without talking about this. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know when I upload, and we'll continue tackling some of these questions for you guys. All right, this one's a big one. Everyone talks about it. Everyone's curious about it. This bike in itself is pretty high, guys, 35.5 height. Now, for a frame of reference, I'm 5'8", guys. I'm not a tall person, but I am very comfortable on this bike. I will demonstrate me sitting on it. So just to kind of give you a context of the question, it's really regarding the height, right? Do they have lowering links for this motorcycle? You can, and not everyone actually needs lowering link. If you're a seasoned rider, you know exactly what you're doing. You're shifting your butt, or you could tippy-toe your way through it. You should be just fine. Also keep in mind, the suspension tends to travel quite a bit once you've put your weight on the motorcycle. But to answer the question, the short form, there is a couple of lowering links, right? You can get the lowering link for the suspension. That'll make the bike a little bit lower. You can get the lowering seat. That'll make it even lower. And if you're feeling like you really, really need this, you could always get the forks lowered and the back lowered as well. But then again, I think that will change the way the bike feels. So let me demonstrate exactly how it looks like when somebody like myself, 5'8", sits on a motorcycle like this. It's not difficult. You don't have to worry about it. I drive this bike super comfortably, and I think you should be able to as well without the lowering links. It's not a super tall bike.
That's a pain in the ass.
Not bad at all, right? And also keep in mind, the bike is way narrower than expected. In contrast to my Hypermotard SP, since the bike is a lot narrower, it's easier for you to get on the bike and flat foot or keep one foot down. Right now, I'm tippy-toeing on one side, but if I really wanted to, let's say if I were to shift my body, put my weight on one side, I'm flat-footed on my left-hand side, and my other foot, my right-hand side, is actually on the peg. But if I wanted to stand straight up, one foot on, and the other foot is on the floor pretty flat. So, you know, it's one of those things, once you're comfortable, it's something that's ideal to you, super easy, get it done. All right, hopefully that answers your question regarding the height. And to be fair, I believe this bike is way more comfortable than the 950 SP, the 939 SP, and I feel like they're a lot, not feel like, I would say it is lower once you sit on the bike. I'm more comfortable on this bike in comparison to my SP. I'll be doing a head-to-head. If you feel comfortable, you want to ask questions regarding that, I'll pull both bikes out, and then we could talk about that too. I've covered my first 100 miles on the Hypermotard 698 Mono RVE, and it's been a nice journey. You know, I really enjoy the bike. I feel really at home with it. Basically, the period of me feeling comfortable after I've adjusted my clutch and brake, my rear brake, happens just like that. But I am getting questions regarding the break-in period. Hypermotard King is very curious about how we break in motorcycles. And I'm curious about how you guys break in brand new motorcycles. For me, I'm a bit of a stickler regarding breaking in a motorcycle. And for certain reasons, I think it's very important that we follow the actual manufacturer's detail instructions so you don't void your warranty. So for Ducatis, it's usually well known. You do 600 to 620 miles, riding between 2,000 RPMs to 6,000 RPM, not fully exceeding that or letting the bike sit on the rev limiter or past that 6,000. Basically, the chamber, the oil needs to go through the engine so it's not scraping against anything. The engine is brand new, so a lot of brand new components in there. So ideally, for those 600 miles before you do your oil change and have them go through all the torque specs, they recommend that you go through the bike during that time frame, keeping the bike between 2,000 to 6,000 RPM. And that doesn't mean you cannot go above that. The overall idea here is for you not to keep the bike at 6, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 RPM or redlining it all the way through and through. That's not very healthy for the engine. Ideally, what they want you to do is to bring the load up and down, going through the gearbox, letting the bike get a very comfortable riding in all different levels on the range, okay? For example, when I got the bike, brand new, I took it out the garage, started riding the bike. It was extremely difficult to hit neutral because everything wasn't fully worked up yet. By the time I'm doing my first 20 minutes, I was able to hit neutral without any issues at all. So how about you guys? Do you break in motorcycles as recommended by the manufacturer, or do you just do whatever you want, ride it like a bat out of hell, and is that okay? I don't know, but all I know is I don't want to void my manufacturer's warranty. That would be a catastrophic event if I were to do that. At least it'll be a mistake on my part. So I much rather follow them. And again, hot tip for you guys, if you're a first-time Ducati owner or second-time Ducati owner, when you do take your motorcycle for that first work that's going to be done on it, you want to make sure you bring your book with you, have them stamp it and date it. That way it's been marked by the dealer, official dealer, that they've done the work in case anything were to happen. Ducati will stand behind your bike and warranty it or handle the situation. That's why I follow that exact instruction that's given by Ducati. So let me know about you guys. What do you do when you do your break-in? Do you just go out and bat out of hell? I know technology is very different. The engines are a lot better now. But for me, I'd rather take the safe route. All right, let's jump to the next. Really great question, and I have to answer this. Can this bike support frame sliders? That's a difficult one to answer. As far as I know, supermoto lifestyle, dirt bike lifestyle, does not have a solution for frame sliders. However, you can do fork sliders, you can do rear axle sliders. To my knowledge, based on what I'm familiar with, most people tend to either do engine cover in carbon fiber or clutch cover in carbon fiber and then do a engine cover below that tends to do the job really well. If I were to look at the frame itself, I'd say there's really no mounting point here. Only here into the frame you can actually mount something, but that would hinder the controls. So technically, I don't see any means of putting a frame slider on here, but then again, it's a sumo, guys. Go out there, enjoy the bike. Scuffs, dings, and dents. It's the nature of the game. Enjoy it. Go out there, do burnouts, do wheelies. If you drop it, it is what it is. Enjoy the bike. That's what I'm excited for the most, to have something that I can enjoy and not have to worry about it too much. Really dope bike. Don't sweat it too hard. Go and enjoy it. I'm loving this motorcycle for so many reasons. One, the bike is pretty dope. Two, it's Ducati. Three, it's Ducati. So I'm getting a lot of questions also regarding the comparison between the gas the Husqvarna 701, the KTM 698 regarding comparison. So great news. A good friend of mine already reached out to me out here in New York who actually owns KTM 698 SMCR, and also his friend owns a 701 Husqvarna. So you will see a comparison. I'll let them, jump on this and try it out. And I'll also jump on their KTM and Husqvarna to give you a solid comparison. As far as I know, they're fairly similar in terms of specs, in terms of weight. I know the Ducati is slightly heavier on paper, but again, that's not something that I'm too worried about because I know I'm going to do a lot of weight reduction on the bike. That's kind of a known thing, of course. And who knows where else do I go? A very good question was asked because you guys know I love Ducati, and it's a known thing. Ducatis tend to run hot. Hence why I love my Ducati Hypermotard SP. When you're on that bike, you're way above everything, above traffic, above the potholes, above all the nonsense, and you also above the heat. So I love that aspect of my Hypermotard SP, and the same thing translates here on the RVE, guys. The bike runs well. It is not hot, at least in my opinion. Again, we are in winter, so I'll do a recap video regarding this as well. As of now, the bike runs fairly well, probably one of the cooler Ducatis that I have in my stable. Again, it is a smaller engine. It's a single cylinder here we're talking about. So I'll keep an eye out to give you further details regarding the heat of it once it's peak season, meaning summer. And once I've had the bike, done with the braking period where I'm actually cranking it up all the way up to 10,000 RPM or something crazy like that, I'll be able to answer that properly. Oh man, I am enjoying this video way too much. Just the fact that I'm interacting with the comment section. And I think this is gonna be a thing where we talk about things like this because I enjoy engaging with the comment section. It feels right. It feels like I'm talking with you guys. So that's kind of cool instead of just writing comments. The concern here is, can you do some of the wheelie stuff without having the $2,000 Termi exhaust up map and the exhaust, right? So there's a couple of answers to that question. It's a lock system on the bike. When you do the upgrade for the full exhaust system, well, is it a full system? Yeah, it's a full system exhaust by Termi provided by Ducati. They will unlock the up map. Do you need that? Maybe. So I think in most scenarios, this bike is a learner's bike, right? You're gonna learn how to slide the back out. You're gonna learn how to wheelie, right? Ideally, would I recommend it? Yes. If you're getting the exhaust, have them do the up map, and that way you can get a sense on how to wheelie properly. Now, if you already know how to wheelie and you already practice or you learn somewhere else and you're already good at it, this is something you won't even need at all. There are 4 modes on the bike. The 4th mode does not allow you to do most of these things. The 3rd mode, probably slightly. The 2nd mode, that allows you to wheelie to some degree. The 1st mode gives you not full control, semi-full control. There's still a little bit of a nanny left, just like the Hypermotard SP, which I'll cover because I did read the manual for this. So if you guys really want to know a lot more and you don't want to survey that book, which I've done, and I'll do that for you, you want to turn off the Ducati traction control. That automatically turns off the Ducati wheelie control completely. So we're talking about no nannies, no backup or anything. We're clutching up, modulating the rear brake on your own, and staying at balance point. That's where you'd want to be. If you know how to do that, there is no point for paying for that $2,000 exhaust with the up map. Where do you land on that spectrum? It's a matter of a you thing, right? Are you just learning wheelies? Are you just learning wheelies? Do you want to feel comfortable with something backing you up? Ideally, when I learned how to wheelie, I learned on a smaller bike, and I also had my wife watching, keeping an eye out and surveying what I'm doing or recording it where I can watch it over again. However, what Ducati does, it puts you in a seat where the bike is watching out for you. It's preventing you from crashing or looping or something like that. So it's super interesting. Is it needed? Yes. Is it needed? No. So it's a yes and no question based on where you're coming from, what you need to get done. For me, I don't really need it. I'm excited to get myself an SE Project full system on here and crack those wheelies. I took my time and learned how to wheelie on something else, something a lot smaller. Now I got it fully under control. Great question. Oh boy, last question of the day, boys. Is it on par with the Husqvarna 701 KTM 698 SMCR in regards to getting your foot on the floor? So great news. I rode a KTM while I was out in Texas. It was fairly high, just like this. and it sat pretty much similar to those bikes. When you're looking at it at face value, they look very tall, but once you've applied your weight to it, meaning you sit down on it, they tend to squat a little bit. So for me, the KTM SMCR sat the same to the Ducati. And also I sat on another 450 KTM, which sat fairly similar as well, fairly tall. But then for some reason, all of these bikes, they look very tall on the outside, on the outset. But then once you've sat on it, it feels pretty good. I'd say, again, if you're a seasoned rider, this should become very natural to you. 1 foot down, tippy-toeing down. And again, guys, what dirt bike or supermoto do you know that everyone flat foots? It's the nature of this motorcycle. You're gonna have to do 1 foot down or maybe one of your butt cheeks off, one or the other. But get into it, man. This is a thrill of a ride. You will enjoy every moment of this motorcycle, trust me. Good looks for tuning in, everybody. Really appreciate you guys dropping all of those comments. It was really dope engaging with you in this manner. I think this is gonna be a thing for sure. So drop comments down below, whatever you wanna know regarding the RVE or any of my motorcycles. Yeah, that's a bit of a flex. I've earned that, all right? But I do love and enjoy replying to these. I've read the manual for this RVE and I'm pretty much in tune with exactly what the bike should be doing and shouldn't be doing. I'll let you guys know way more. That way you don't have to spend time off the bike reading. And I'll catch you guys in another video. Peace.